everybody, welcome back to my channel. A lot of you guys have asked me to do some pregnancy related videos, and just so you know, I did not forget about you guys. I just recently reopened my salon after being closed because of COVID-19, so it has been crazy. I've been busy, and even right now I kind of have to rush with this video because I have to go take a client, but I did want to get back into obviously making videos, and specifically pregnancy videos before I give birth, okay? Because as of today, I am 28 weeks pregnant, so 7 months and a week or so. So I need to get the ball rolling. I just feel like pregnant AF. This is my belly right now. Ugh. Okay, whatever. Okay, so anyway, I have a couple of pregnancy related videos planned, so stay tuned for those. And today I'm going to tell you guys how I got pregnant after trying for over a year. This is for you ladies out there who are trying to conceive right now, or maybe you have unexplained infertility. And I do want to preface this by saying I am not a freaking doctor, all right? I'm just going to tell you guys about my personal experience, my body, what I did that actually finally worked within one cycle of trying. Yeah, like I said, this is going to be aimed more toward people who have like unexplained infertility. If you have some sort of medical condition, that's a little bit different. I don't that I know of, but yes, I just want to give that disclaimer first and foremost, because sometimes you guys, it's crazy because, like, you know, when you're younger, if you are or were sexually active in your younger days before you try to have a baby, it's crazy because you spend so many years like trying not to get pregnant, or you just think like, oh my gosh, like I'm gonna have sex once and I'm gonna get pregnant. And you know, that does happen for some people. Some people are fertile AF, okay? I have a couple of friends like that. Like I have friends who it's like, girl, you just need to not have sex, okay? Because like they just get pregnant like that. And in my experience, maybe it's just because I was trying to get pregnant, but I don't feel like I'm one of those people. So anyway, let's get into the video now. If you are not subscribed to my channel, then please take a moment to subscribe. And without further ado, let's get into it. I have my notes right here, and actually today I'm gonna tell you guys, this is like me. I'm very private about my private life, as you guys know, about my personal life. You know, I get on camera and I share my opinions and stuff. I'm a very opinionated person, but like when it comes to my personal struggles and also just my personal like vibes in general, I tend to be very private because I don't want people to judge me. So I'm going to tell you guys stuff about myself that you guys have that I've never spoken about before. Let me give you a little background about myself. I have always had regular periods, like ever since I started my period at 12 years old. They say that if you have a period and if you have a regular period, you're fertile, you know? And so I never had any issues in terms of like just my cycle or anything like that. My husband and I got married in July of 2018, and then after we got married, we were like not trying to have a baby, but we were like not trying, if that makes sense. Like basically, this is gonna be graphic, but I don't know the like medical term for this. I always say this to my doctor, like when she would ask me like, oh, what's your like birth control method, and I'm like, I don't know the medical term for pulling out. We were like using that method. We were using the pulling out method when we did not want to get pregnant, and it worked like a charm. And so after we got married, sometimes we would use that method, sometimes we would not. And then, you know, it was kind of just like, okay, like we're trying, but not trying kind of. So got married in July, and then by September, I had gotten pregnant. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but that pregnancy ended in a miscarriage about within 6 weeks. So I'm not going to go into detail with that because I do want to make a separate video about that in case you struggle with that before, but that is like a whole other video. So I ended up miscarrying in October of 2018, and after that we were kind of like, our doctor was just like, oh, this is just something that happens, like there's not necessarily a reason, like you're young, you're healthy. And at that time I had just turned 30. As of today, as I'm filming this, I'm 31. So she's like, you're young, you're healthy, like everything looks normal, your blood work looks normal, like you're fine, like this just happens sometimes. And I like accepted that. And so yeah, so time went on, and obviously after that, even though I wasn't necessarily like trying to get pregnant, like thinking about it a lot, the fact that I had a miscarriage, and like you just, if when that happens to you, you never necessarily think that's going to happen to you. Do you know what I mean? Like when you start to try to start a family and have a baby, like I don't know, it's weird, like you just, or at least for myself, I would never think that it would end that way, you know. And so that kind of made me realize even more, like I really want to be a mom, like I really want to conceive a child, I want to start my family and whatever. And it just opened my eyes to the reality that it is not that easy to get pregnant and to um carry a child to term. Like it's just crazy when you think about it. Like it has to be like the perfect timing, the perfect sperm, the perfect egg. They have to meet. They have to, like, and then the embryo has to attach, and then it has to grow. You know, it's just kind of crazy. Like when you think about conception, like it truly is a miracle. But anyway, basically after that, we were like, okay, like let's try again to have a baby. Okay, so then after that, we were like not using any like sort of birth control or anything like that, or the pull out method. We weren't doing any of that. Okay, so this is like gonna be like a very personal thing about myself that I'm gonna share with you guys that I really didn't want to share, just because I don't want to be judged. And you know, there's still, even though right now we're talking about mental health awareness a lot, which is like wonderful, there's still like a stigma attached to having like mental health issues. And surprise, surprise, you guys, I have adult ADD. Okay, I'm just gonna come out of the closet and say it. So I'm coming out of the closet right now, you guys. I have attention deficit disorder, and you guys may or may not have been able to tell already. If you have been following me for a while, then you may have like put two and two together. Yeah, I was diagnosed as an adult, and this is why, just on a side note, this is why anytime I film videos, you guys, I have to have notes. I have to write it out. I have to, it's hard for me to stay on track with things. It's even hard for me to just be consistent, like with my YouTube channel in general, just because it is a daily struggle. It is a daily struggle just to complete tasks. Do you know what I mean? Like it's hard. So anyway, so with that said, got that off my chest. Confessions, right? So with that said, I was on medication at this time. So I was on a low dose and a slow release of Adderall. So I was on about 10 milligrams of Adderall a day. It was a slow release, and it was just enough for me to like be able to function. And I wouldn't take it every day, just because I didn't want my body to become dependent on it. But I would take it like just as needed, meaning like if I had a bunch of tasks to do that day, then I would do it, or I would take it. If I was just like chilling at home, then like whatever, I wasn't doing it, or I wasn't taking it. But so with that said, one of the major side effects of that is that you lose your appetite. And so I know that like on the street, this drug is popular for, this prescription drug is popular, and I have a prescription from a doctor, or had one. It's popular for like, it keeps you, I would say that like it's kind of like a cup of coffee. Like it keeps you alert, it keeps you focused. But then also one of the side effects is that it makes you lose your appetite. So some people will use it in order to lose weight. So I've always been very petite, very small. So I wasn't taking it in order to lose weight. Well, obviously I wasn't taking it in order to lose weight. And also that was like a negative side effect for me. Like the negative side effect for me was that it made me lose my appetite. Like I would be so focused on getting tasks done that like I just wouldn't eat. And so I'm saying all this to say that in my personal opinion, I feel like taking that medication made me lose my appetite and made me lose weight, and then also made me feel personally, just for myself, it made me feel malnourished. According to doctors, it's okay to take the drug if you are trying to conceive or even if you are pregnant, but just for me personally, after having the miscarriage and then like trying again to get pregnant for like the next couple of months, and I wasn't getting pregnant and I was still on this medication, I was like, okay, I just don't feel healthy. I feel like my body isn't in the best condition to conceive a child and to carry a child. So I say all that to say that I ended up stopping the medication altogether, and that was just like by my own decision. My doctor told me like, no, it's okay, you can keep taking it, whatever. But just for me, I know my body. I felt my body, and again, I just started to feel malnourished. I didn't feel healthy. I wasn't eating, and then like when I would eat, well, obviously I would eat every day, like even on the medication. It would just get to the point, you guys, like if you're one of those people, I know that there are people out there who are like, because my husband is like this. He's like, how do you forget to eat? How do you forget to eat? But even before I was even on the medication, I've never been like a food person. Do you know what I mean? Right now, I currently am, but I've never been like a food person. So some days, like I would just be so busy or so distracted or whatever that I would like forget to eat, and then I just eat like one meal, and like it's not like the most nutritious thing, you know? So anyway, the point of me telling you guys that is that I totally stopped the medication and to prepare my body for to get pregnant. And I started also looking into nutrition and learning about nutrition just on my own. Like, what am I eating? What am I doing? How am I preparing my body? You know, because in my opinion, I just feel like the best medication that you can take, like the best thing that you can do for your body, no matter what you're trying to do, if you're just trying to live or if you're just trying to be healthy, if you're trying to get in shape, if you're trying to like fix things that are wrong with you mentally, or if you're trying to get pregnant. I don't know if I already said that or not, but in any case, the best thing that you can do for yourself is have a good diet and have an exercise. That is the best thing that you can do for yourself. Obviously, you know, modern medicine is good for, you know, certain things, but you should have a foundation in having good nutrition and all that kind of stuff. So I started to do my research into nutrition, and so that's the first thing that I did was, and I'm not telling you to do this if you're on some sort of like medication. I'm not telling you to stop your medication. I'm just telling you what I did. But the first thing I did was stop my medication, and I got my health on track, and I started to research more about like the food that I'm putting into my body and what it all means. So I started to eat more. I started to eat more in general, but also I just started to eat more and I don't have any like I'm not on any particular diet, but I started to make sure I ate more meat, more dairy, more eggs, more vegetables, just more whole foods. And I know that right now we live in an era of like, oh, vegan and vegetarian and like whatever, things like that. In my personal opinion, okay, I believe, this is my personal opinion, do not freaking at me, okay? Well, I have a couple of different theories. I feel like different diets are better for different people. But just for me personally, I feel excellent when I eat meat. I feel excellent when I eat vegetables. Like that's just what works for my body. And I feel like as human beings, in my opinion, because I've had people at me about this before when I was on live eating a freaking Chick-fil-A sandwich, okay? In my opinion, I think that the world, like the ecosystem, all works together. Like the sun feeds the plants feed the animals, and the animals feed us. Do you know what I mean? Like I feel like it all works together, and like that's what we're meant to do as human beings. So anyway, the point that I'm trying to make is that I started eating a lot, okay? I started eating a lot. I started exercising. I started, but the number one thing was my nutrition. I just started to eat more whole foods and like prepare my body to be able to carry and nourish a child, okay? So during this time, I was still like trying to conceive and whatever, and I could feel like my weight getting better, and like I just felt better. I felt like I was improving, but I still wasn't getting pregnant. And so then let me tell you guys about a mistake that I made, okay? A mistake that I made was taking this. So this is called Vitex, okay? And I heard about this because I went down the rabbit hole of in like the trying to conceive community. Vitex is like it's an herb that some people take, especially if you have PCOS, some people take in order to ovulate if you're not ovulating, or to regulate your period if you don't have regular periods. So it's suggested for people, it's not FDA approved, but it is suggested for people. It's like a homeopathic, you know, aid or supplement for people who have PCOS and who struggle with things that I just mentioned now, and specifically people who have PCOS. I don't have PCOS. I have a regular period, and so, but I took this because at the time I was like so desperate to get pregnant, and I had just come across this, and people were suggesting like, oh, take Vitex, and of course, like, we don't know the side effects and everything like that, but I was just like at a point mentally where I was like, I'm willing to try anything, I don't freaking care, which was a total mistake. Okay, so I'm telling you guys about this because who knows, try it. If it works for your body, that's fine. Another thing that I tried that's similar to this is the pink Stork fertility tea. And I feel like that also, basically taking this and then that tea, both messed up my cycle. But it made my period like late, or else like my period would only last like 2 days and whatever. And I just don't believe in that. I feel like this delayed me getting pregnant by a couple of months, because I took it maybe like for 1 or 2 cycles. Like, this whole bottle is like still full basically, but I took it maybe for 1 or 2 cycles, and then after like my periods were weird, I was like, okay, this isn't good. You know, you have to pay attention to your body. Like, if you had a regular period then you don't have a period anymore, that's a problem. Like, you should look into your diet or your hormones or whatever. And same with this, I feel like it messed up my hormones. In my opinion, I just don't like, I don't believe in you know, like birth control pills and like the depot shot and like all of that kind of stuff. If you do, that's your prerogative. This is my video. I'm going to talk about my experience and my opinion. Like, do you, boo? Okay, I'm not telling you guys what to do. Again, you know, I always have to give warnings like this because people are like on one and they just get so offended. And it's like, look, if you want to pump your body full of hormones with like birth control and whatever, like, by all means. And if that works for you, fine. Okay. But just for me personally, I personally don't believe in that for my body. Okay. So anyway, so basically, yeah, this is where I made a mistake. I would not recommend taking Vitex or anything like this for those of you ladies out there who have regular periods. Okay, because it messed up my cycle, and I feel like it delayed my whole trying to conceive journey by a couple of months, because then it takes a while for, because like, even, I mean, some people get off of birth control and they get pregnant like the next month, but for the most part, like, whatever medication you're taking, whatever you're putting into your body and then you stop, like, it takes a while for your body to like get back into to get back to normal, you know. So anyway, that was a mistake that I made. So during this time, as I was still trying to conceive, I was going back to the doctor like within every couple of months, and then the doctor would always say the same thing. She was just like, okay, I'm gonna have you come back in 6 more months because you're fine, you're healthy, everything looks normal. But like, and they like measured my uterus and my ovaries and everything. They're like, everything looks normal. Like, and in a way it was kind of frustrating because, and I get it now that I'm actually pregnant, it's like, I get it. You can't rush things, you know, you have to, your body, things happen in the proper time and in the proper environment with the proper egg and the proper sperm, you know what I mean? But at the same time, it was like frustrating. So again, I continued my research on my own to just figure out like why I'm not getting pregnant. And again, that included my nutrition. It included not taking this anymore. And I got on a strict vitamin regimen. Okay, so I'm going to tell you guys what I started using for my vitamins. Okay, so I started taking prenatal vitamins. These ones are the Nature Made 200 milligram DHA, or it's a multivitamin with DHA. Yeah, prenatal vitamins. And by the way, I'm going to leave links to everything down below. So I started taking prenatal vitamins for obvious reasons, you know, to get the extra. I was still eating well, but you know, sometimes our diets are not like complete, you know. So I started taking this every single day. Whoops. It's hard for me to bend down. Okay. Another thing I started taking is iron. This is the 65 milligram tablet. This is by Nature's Bounty. And so iron is good to take when you're pregnant anyway, just because you're producing way more blood and it's easy to become anemic when you're pregnant. And for me, I'm not anemic, but just genetically I'm borderline anemic. Like I'm this close to being anemic. So I need to take iron pills anyway, just on a regular basis, which I honestly don't a lot, but since I was trying to become pregnant, I want to be like healthy AF. So I started taking iron upon my research. So prenatal vitamins, and then also I think orange juice has folic acid in it. So folic acid is important in order to conceive, in order to sustain a pregnancy, because it's important in the development of your baby's spinal cord. And so, but some people don't process folic acid properly because it's synthetic. It's a synthetic vitamin. And maybe I'm not, and forgive me if I'm not saying all this correctly and in the most like scientific terms, okay? I'm not a freaking scientist or a doctor. I'm just a hairdresser, okay? And a regular person. But I read that some people don't process folic acid properly, and so it's better to take methylfolate because it is not synthetic. So I got some methylfolate from Amazon, started taking this along with my prenatal vitamin and along with my iron. And I was not tested to see if I don't absorb folic acid properly, but I mean, I wasn't necessarily, whatever, it was fine. Like, I was just gonna take this anyway. Basically, is what I'm trying to get at. Okay. Vitamin B6 and B12. I forgot exactly what these are for. I'm sorry, you guys. But basically, these are important for if you want to get pregnant and during pregnancy, because they give you energy, and they also prevent, or they can help prevent morning sickness. And I did not have any morning sickness at all. So definitely suggest getting vitamin B6. This is the 100 milligram, and this is B12 2500 microgram. Okay. Another thing, I started taking a probiotic because, okay, this is TMI. So again, my husband and I, we've been together for freaking years, okay, and we have always used the pull-out method. So then when we started trying to conceive, and he wasn't pulling out, I would feel like, without going into too much detail, but I would feel like my body would like kind of like reject his sperm. Like, my body did not like his freaking semen. I feel like it didn't. I feel like my vagina did not like his semen. Okay, like it would just be like I would feel like my pH would be a little bit off. That's a good way of saying it. That's a classy way of saying it. Like, I feel like my pH would be a little bit off. So I started to take a probiotic, because then I also read that sometimes, and it's rare, but sometimes like your body chemistry and his body chemistry just like don't mesh, and so I started taking a probiotic, and that totally helped. Another thing that I started taking was vitamin D3. So this is great, especially for those of you women of color out there like myself. Like, if you go out into the sun and you tan, basically you should be taking vitamin D3. Well, whatever, let me not even act like I'm a doctor. I'm not going to tell you guys what to do, but basically, when you have melanin in your skin, I mean, everybody technically has melanin in their skin unless you're albino. But when you are a woman of color specifically, and the darker you are, when you go out into the sun, you're not absorbing the proper amount of vitamin D because of the melanin in your skin. It's like a natural sunblock, if you will. So it blocks the vitamin D from completely absorbing into your skin, and then that could give you issues with, well, you could just be vitamin D deficient, and then also you can have issues with like your pH and everything like that. So I suggest getting vitamin D3. This is the 125 micrograms. Okay, so also my husband started taking the Blue Stork multivitamin for men, which will help the guy with fertility, because it's not necessarily, I feel like a lot of times when we're having trouble getting pregnant, I feel like as women we think that something is wrong with us, but sometimes it's not. It could be 50-50. It could be you or it could be him. He started taking the Blue Stork fertility vitamin for men, and that's just a multivitamin. It doesn't necessarily, it wasn't like the pink Stork fertility tea, which has, I forgot what ingredient it has in it, but it might be like whatever Vitex is. Chasteberry, I think it had chasteberry in it, and I feel like that messed up my cycle. But the Blue Stork Fertility for Men is just like a multivitamin, which is like full of vitamins that help with trying to conceive. So he took that for a month. Okay, this is basically my routine for when I started like trying to kick this into gear. Okay, so another thing that I read when trying to conceive is that like your fallopian tubes could be blocked from either like scar tissue or just blocked because of like liquid or like whatever. Your fallopian tubes could be blocked, and therefore it makes it harder for the sperm to travel up to your fallopian tube and then meet the egg, and then you know how it works. So I started to have like a theory in my head. I'm like, oh my gosh, what if my freaking fallopian tubes are blocked, but I just don't know it? And so I started to do castor oil packs. I mean, you soak the cloth in the castor oil, put it on top of where your uterus is, put a saran wrap so that way it traps all the moisture in, and then put a heating pad on top of that. And I would leave that on for like 30 minutes. I would watch TV, and I would do this every single day from the time I finished my period up to when I ovulated. And so castor oil will like penetrate into your body, which is why you don't want to do this when you're ovulating or when you're pregnant. But it basically like it'll help break down scar tissue. It'll help unclog your fallopian tubes if you have like fluid in them, which is completely normal. I didn't go to the doctor to get the test that you get. I forgot what it's called. The test that you get to see if your fallopian tubes are blocked. But you know, I just want to cover all my bases. So definitely, if you know for a fact, or if you suspect maybe that your fallopian tubes might be blocked, then definitely do the castor oil pack. I did this for about a month. This is like leading up to like, this is probably November or so of 2019, when like right before I actually got pregnant. Okay, what else did I do? Oh, another thing that I started doing is I started using organic pads and tampons. Okay, so I'm a tampon girl. Like, actually, I was thinking about it, and I was like, I know like when I first ever started my period when I was like 12, I used pads, but I don't know when I made the transition to using tampons. Like, I've been using tampons like for freaking ever, for as long as I can remember, and I just use like regular tampons, you know. But I started to feel like, okay, I'm putting like this synthetic material in my body every month. Like, it can't necessarily be good, you know. And so I switched to wearing organic pads for the most part, which, you know, was an adjustment for me because I'm not used to like wearing a pad. You know what I'm saying? Like, pads can be uncomfortable. And then on top of that, just for me personally, I like to wear thongs like every day. I'm not like a brief kind of girl unless I'm going to sleep. Like, I don't wear briefs or boy shorts or boy shorts or anything like that unless I'm going to sleep, just because I don't like my panty line to show. So that was a struggle. But you know what? I did it for the health of my vajayjay. And also, but I did use organic tampons. I use them sparingly, but I use them like if I was on vacation or something like that. And this is again in November, and I'm thinking of vacation because I know that was the last vacation I took was in Hawaii in November, and I was on my freaking period. It was like so dumb. Okay, but the point that I'm trying to make is that I used organic everything, and I totally suggest that. It is a little bit more pricey, but then at the same time, you have to think about the fact that you're putting something up your vagina every single month for like a week or however long your period is, okay? And my period is 7 days long. Like, that's a whole week where there's like synthetic, I don't even know what it's like polyester and like weird stuff like that, like up your vajayjay, like, no. So I was like, well, you know what, let me sacrifice, let me wear a pad for the sake of, you know, conceiving a child. And so that's what I did. So that was November. So next thing that I did was Ovulation Predictor Kit. So as you may or may not know, like, getting pregnant is seriously like a miracle because, like I said, it has to be the perfect egg, the perfect sperm, the perfect timing. Like, that egg has to be like coming down the fallopian tube, okay? You have to ovulate. And I don't know about you guys, but I started to pay attention to when I would ovulate because I would like feel it. Like, I would feel my like ovary like bursting and pushing out a freaking egg. It got to that point where I like had it down timed, and then I would take an ovulation predictor like strip test. It looks like a pregnancy test basically, but it just predicts like when you're ovulating. So I would take them, and like when I would feel like that side cramp, when I could feel like the egg like bursting through my ovary, and it would be positive, and I'd be like, babe, we have to get it popping right now. You know, like you have to really, because there's only, I think after you ovulate, your egg is only alive, I guess you could say, or around to become fertilized for I believe 3 days. I believe 72 hours. But it's a very small window is what I'm trying to get at. It's a very small window. And then also I want to say during this time too, when I was ovulating, like say I ovulated on Wednesday, like I would start having sex. We would try like every other day, okay? Because it's not necessarily the best thing to do it every single day, because the guy needs like time to like build up his like sperm count and like get like fresh sperm, I guess. And so if I ovulated on Wednesday, we would start on like Monday, and then Monday on, Tuesday off, Wednesday on, like so on and so forth. Like that whole week, like we would like try to conceive. It was so awkward. I don't know why. Like, oh my gosh, like I must be such like a classy woman and like such a lady or something, because I feel awkward saying like I fucked my husband every other day, but I did. Okay, anyway, and I downloaded this app. Let me tell you guys what it is. All right, so I downloaded this app called Premom, and so it's where you take an ovulation strip, you take a picture of it, and you take a picture of the strip, and the app will tell you like, okay, like today you're ovulating, or you know, and it'll show you like the best days to like try to conceive and whatever. So I did that, and I also wrote in the notes of that app like every symptom that I was experiencing, because when you write things down, it helps you to understand your body more, and it helps you to understand like exactly when you're ovulating, what the signs are for you personally and your body, because everybody's body is different, right? Tracking ovulation is so freaking important, and it honestly, this like doing all this kind of like made it fun in a way, because it felt like a science experiment. You know, it was very interesting. It was very like fun, actually. Trying to conceive was fun in more ways than one. Okay, anyway, so lastly what I did was, okay, so another TMI thing. So basically, like your as the woman, okay, your fluids have to be like super, or they have to be like ideal in order for the sperm to be able to survive, and in order to be able to swim up to your egg, right? And like I said, for me, sometimes I would struggle with that, because I would feel like my body would like reject his sperm, okay? It's like my eggs, and my body was like, like, I don't know where you're going. I don't know where you think you're going. Like when his like guys would like swim up there, they'd be like, I don't know where you think you're going. You know, it's very that, okay? And so I was like, okay, I need to make my fluids like more fertile. And the most fertile type of fluid is egg white mucus. Like you want your mucus down there to look like egg whites. You know, when you crack an egg and then there's like the egg white before you cook it, it's like clear and like clear and like like stretchy kind of, I guess, like a freaking egg white. You know what an egg white looks like, okay? And so what I did to improve my cervical mucus is I took Mucinex. Girl, thank me later. Thank me later. So you don't want to take Mucinex DM. You just want to take Mucinex, because Mucinex DM will actually dry out all of your mucus. This is more so like it thins and loosens mucus. It relieves chest congestion. It's an expectorant. So like if you're like sick, you want to take this so you can like cough up whatever sickness. But yeah, you want to make sure that it is not DM. I'm going to leave the link, as I stated before, to everything I'm mentioning down below. And I got this one on Amazon. It's like a generic version of Mucinex. It's just I don't even know how to pronounce this, but it's mucus relief without the DM. without drying you out. This actually makes you produce, if you're trying to conceive specifically, it makes you produce way more cervical mucus, and it is like fertile AF. Okay, it was fertile. Okay, and so and it's funny because I had started taking this in December, right? I started taking this in December, like the first week of December, and at that time, I think that, so my friend and I were at a party, and I was like, oh, like I don't know if I should have a drink, or we're on the way to like a holiday party, and I was like, I don't know if I should have a drink tonight because like I took this like Mucinex or whatever, and I don't know how it's gonna interact with that. And it was funny because she was like, oh, well, be careful on that because I got two of my cousins got pregnant when they were taking that because they were sick and they ended up getting pregnant. And I was just like, oh, okay, like whatever. Like she didn't know that I was like trying to get pregnant. But in my head, I was like, okay, good, because that's like actually what I'm taking it for. And lo and behold, you guys, actually, let me see if I did anything else. That was like December. Yeah, and lo and behold, so that was like the first week of December. And then after that, my last period was December 25th, 2019. And then within the next month, I was pregnant. So I would say, combined with all of this, like all the nutrition stuff first and foremost, but then like really going hardcore with like my vitamins and then the Mucinex and then tracking my ovulation, like in the last, like I would say within 2 cycles I had gotten pregnant after trying for over a year. Okay, so last but not least, you guys, I do want to say that as corny as this all sounds, like the number one thing that I tried not to do was I tried not to be negative and be sad about it, and also be happy for other people. Like obviously during this time, like other people were getting pregnant. Like I would have friends or family who got pregnant, and you know, I feel like within like the community of trying to conceive, I know like a lot of people struggle with like negative feelings, like if you've been trying and then like your best friend ends up getting pregnant before you, and you just feel like a failure and you feel sad and you feel jealous and things like that. Like it's weird because like I'm just not, well, I don't know, maybe it's just my personality naturally, but I'm not really like a jealous person. I want like all my friends, I want all my family, like genuinely within my soul, I want everybody to be happy. I want everybody to be fertile. If that's what you're trying to do, if you want to have a baby, I want you to be fertile. I want everybody to do whatever it is that you want it to, that you want to do. I want everybody to be happy, and like just try to be positive and happy for other people. And then also, like, don't give up hope, you guys. Seriously, as corny as it sounds, do not give up hope. As corny as it sounds, have faith. Like I never ever, even though it was taking a while, like I never necessarily lost faith that I would have a baby. And also at the same time, I was also okay with the idea. I was like, well, you know, if like I'm not meant to be a mom for whatever reason, I will also accept that fate, and I will be happy like with my life because that's just what God wanted for me. That's a hard pill to swallow. I understand that, and um it's hard to it's hard to come to terms with that sometimes. Um but that's just what I thought in my head. Like I just felt like if it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be. And then also, like if this doesn't work out for me, then there are, you know, we live in the age of modern medicine and technology. There are so many different ways to get pregnant. So I was like, you know what, I'm not even gonna trip about it. I'm gonna be happy. I know this journey can be tough, but I'm gonna be happy. I'm gonna be positive, and I would suggest doing that. Be happy, try to be happy, try to be positive, be happy for other people, and do not lose faith, you guys. Do not lose faith. Getting pregnant is not like, it doesn't happen like that for everybody. Like it can take years, and there's not necessarily a reason. Like it just takes years for whatever reason, but everything happens in its perfect timing. So I hope this was helpful to you guys, and I hope that I gave you guys some encouragement and some hope. If you are out there trying to get pregnant, it is possible. I'm currently, like I said, 7 months pregnant with my baby. My baby is freaking healthy AF. Okay, my baby's super healthy. I'm super healthy. I've had like an amazing, like easy pregnancy. My hands are a little swollen. I can't even wear my wedding ring anymore. But aside from that, I'm getting bigger every freaking single day. Okay, but you know, it's totally worth it. So yeah, I have to run, you guys. But if you guys have any questions, comments, anything like that, please leave it down below, because I'm going to continue to make these pregnancy videos for the next 3 months until I give birth. I'm scared. It's gonna be okay though. It'll be okay. Yeah, I'm gonna continue to make these pregnancy videos. I also want to show you guys what I've been wearing, because I want to show you guys what I've been wearing as a pregnant person. Okay, like my maternity clothes, and then also just my regular clothes that I wear that just work for pregnancy. So I have a lot of things planned, you guys. So anyway, like I said, leave me a comment down below. I want to read them. I want to answer them. Also, my husband reads my comments too, okay? And if I'm not here, I'm on Instagram at Brittney Gray. Feel free to send me messages, DM me, leave me your stories and your tips of trying to conceive. And also, for those of you girls out there who are trying to conceive, leave like some comments for the girls who are trying to conceive, and leave like hope for them, because I know it can be like a tough, scary and crazy and like kind of sad, and it's just like a crazy journey, like trying to bring a life into this world. But don't lose faith. Again, like for the millionth time, do not lose faith, do not lose hope. I believe anybody, if you want to be pregnant, you will be pregnant. Okay, I'm putting it out there. Like, you're gonna have a baby, you're gonna get pregnant. Like, don't even trip, girl. Okay, anyway, that is it. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and then you guys will see me in my next video. Thank you for watching. Bye.